Today, we are answering questions that I have seen in my comment section many times. Like, what are 2FA backup codes? How do I set up 2FA backup codes? And why are 2FA backup codes so important? So to get started with this episode, I am going to assume that you are already familiar with the different kinds of two-factor authentication. That would be SMS, app-based, and hardware security keys. And you are probably ready to set up 2FA on your online accounts. Now, if you are coming into this video without that base understanding and knowledge of what 2FA is and how it works, watch this series of videos that I did. I will link them down below as well as up here, specifically a video that I did all about two-factor authentication. Now, I am so excited because yes, Yubico is sponsoring this video, and I will share why I think the hardware key is the best option later on in this video, and I do have a coupon code just for my viewers as well. Now, if you have ever set up two-factor authentication or 2FA on one of your online accounts, you may have noticed that after you registered your SMS number, your app, or your hardware key, like one of these, to authenticate, the website will show you up to 10 different additional codes, and it says, hey, these are important, make sure to write them down. These are your backup codes, and do not just shrug them off and just skip past that page. They are indeed important because in the event of a 2FA failure or loss, this is your last ditch option to get access to your online accounts. And that can be a problem if you can't use your normal 2FA token because it could prevent you from logging into your account, even though you are the legit owner of that account. This is why the backup codes exist. That's to fix that problem. But why is this a problem? Well, when we set up 2FA on our accounts, we are assuming that for future logins, we will need to input a password plus a special code that is sent to your phone via a text message, is generated in an app on your phone, or the 2FA authentication happens when a device you're logging into is able to verify that you have a hardware key in hand. And that's when you plug it in or you tap on the front of it. So then logically, if you lose your phone number, if you lose your phone with the app, or you lose your hardware key, you would not be able to log in because you wouldn't have access to that 2FA code or the key to tap on. This is a major reason why I constantly recommend buying 2 hardware keys or having some sort of backup in place. So that can include your backup codes. So you can think of backup codes as a fail-safe for your accounts. Even if you lose your phone number, or if your phone gets stolen or destroyed, or if you lose a hardware key, you could then fall back on your backup codes in order to log in. So what makes a backup code different than a 2FA code? Well, when you first set up your 2FA settings on an online account, the website will generate several of these unique backup codes, showing them to you in plain text on the screen and telling you to print them out or write them down. Unlike 2FA codes, which are ever-changing and they do change every few seconds, the backup codes never change. You will see 10 or so different unique numbers, maybe 6 to 10 digits each, and all of these are hard-coded. Each of these backup codes can only be used once, and then it's completely burned and you have to scratch it off the list. The backup code is a single-use emergency fail-safe. Since a website cannot reset 2FA for you if you lose your key or your phone gets stolen, these backup codes can save you from losing that access. But we need to remember that backup codes themselves are not inherently 100% secure. You may have already caught on to this as I described them, but since they are hard-coded codes, couldn't an attacker try to input a code over and over again to eventually gain access? Sure they could, in the same way an attacker could try and steal your 2FA code. But remember, they would also need your password too. This is why it's important to never reuse passwords and never share your 2FA login codes with anybody else. 2FA must be enabled on your account to generate those codes in the first place, so you really can't access those backup codes without already having 2FA on your account. And you already have to be logged in to access and view those backup codes on your account in the first place. Now, any plain text codes that you have to type in could be stolen in a phishing attack, over your shoulder at a coffee shop, or stolen via spyware. This is also why I recommend upgrading to a YubiKey and getting a backup one, because if a website supports upgraded security protocols, which are implemented on YubiKeys, then you will never even see a 2FA 2FA code that an attacker could steal. There's nothing for them to see, so nothing that they could steal. And if you have a backup key like I do here, you can fail-safe to that one before you ever even need to input any backup codes. And once passkeys are available on the websites that you use, you will already have a hardware key that supports them because YubiKeys already support passkeys. So you can see how security is this holistic mindset, which I've said before. It's not a linear thing where you just do one thing. You need to consider all the potential windows and doors that an attacker could get through and make sure to lock all of them. So how do you generate those backup codes? Well, first off, backup codes do not exist on your account unless you set up two-factor authentication. These are generated by the website as you set up 2FA, or they can be reset after you set up 2FA via the same settings page. For example, if you have a Google account, you can set up 2FA via your settings, security, two-step verification. Then you can add your YubiKey, your 2FA app, or SMS. I don't recommend SMS because of known vulnerabilities with text messaging. And I did a video about SIM swapping a long time ago, so I will mention that link down below. So instead, I would choose a YubiKey if the website supports hardware keys, and app if they don't. If the website gives me the option to set up a second hardware key as a failsafe, then I will absolutely add an extra one just in case my first one is lost or stolen. That way I can always go back, I can revoke the primary one that got lost or stolen, and use the failsafe hardware key to log in. If you want to upgrade to hardware keys, then just make sure to use my coupon code for a discount on your next purchase. It's a one-time cost and then you can use them for years. You can use the code Shannon Morse at checkout on ubicode.com and then come back here and watch my tutorials on setting them up. So once you have 2FA set up on your account, you can then access your backup codes. Now these are all generated again via the website, and you should keep them somewhere safe. Since they never change or refresh like 2FA codes do, I would recommend keeping them stored somewhere offline, like a fireproof safe. I would not keep them in a digital file or printed and stored in my wallet, since wallets do tend to get stolen and digital files could be accessed by a cyber attacker. If for any reason your printed or written down codes ever get destroyed, you can log back into your account because hopefully you haven't disappeared one of your hardware keys, so you can still get in with your 2FA code, and you can then ask the site to generate new backup codes for you. Even though backup codes exist, you should not depend on them. If you've already used like 9 codes out of the 10 that you have and you only have that one left, well, that means if anything was to happen to that last code, you would be locked out of your account and nobody could help. So don't wait till you only have one backup code left to use. If on that off chance that ever happens, create 10 new codes and replace the old ones. So let's say that you lost your hardware keys. To enter a backup code into Google, for example, you get your backup codes out of your safe or wherever you stored them, go to the login screen, sign into your Google account with your username and password, then click Try Another Way when it prompts you for a 2FA key. Here, you can enter one of your backup codes. It doesn't matter which one, you don't have to start at the top, you can choose a random one if you want to, as long as you have never used it before to log in. Since you can only use each code once, you may want to cross it off the list after you have used it so that you can keep track of how many you've actually used. Do you have any questions about backup codes or two-factor authentication? I have a fancy little playlist on my channel all about 2FA and passkeys that you can check out, and comment down below with any questions that you might have. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Bye y'all.